Dr. Cartley. We're down here at our Manaway Clinic with our puppy training class today. You can take a peek at our auroravet.com and come up with our Facebook Live that we're doing right now. You're obviously watching me, hopefully already. So we have 6 families tonight. They're finishing getting everything settled. All these puppies are under the age of 6 months, and we'll be working on a few skills this evening. Thank you to Johanna from Four-Legged Scholar. She's come. She's a certified pet dog trainer, and she'll be helping us this evening. We're super excited. So I have a couple support staff here with me this evening. They'll be looking over your questions and your posts so we can address some of those. But we're excited. It's our first Facebook Live event, so thanks for joining us, guys. Okay.
So we got Nikki and Ruby, Shannon and Shug. What's your puppy's name? Raya. Iris. Raya. How about you collect Artist. From everyone that's done.
I'm done. Oh, I need your hands.
This is Flora. They can use it to take notes. If they don't want it back, they don't have to have it back.
And she had.
Wrong. Okay.
Oh, you need to get that.
Come on, sit by the pop.
So we have a bunch of different puppies here with us today. We have Nash, we have Chubbs, we have Ruby Sue, we have little Miss Raya over here. So that's super exciting.
So we got 2 more that we filled out up here, right?
So thanks for bearing with us as we're filling out all our paperwork and getting organized, guys. I see a few of you guys on there. Can somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear what I'm saying? That would be awesome.
I did DNA that came back like 48% American Shepherd. And then the other part was like American Dog was that color. We used to have Bostons. So my daughter was like, I got another Boston. She wrapped it.
Thanks, Morgan. I appreciate it. Thanks, Lynn. So Joanna, can I borrow you for just a second to be like, oh, yeah. Okay. So guys, this is Joanna from Four-Legged Scholar. So we're excited to have her here, certified pet dog trainer in the area. Wonderful positive reinforcement training. We love it. So she's gonna go with our puppy class today. So thanks for joining us. Here we go, guys. Woohoo! We are off.
All right, guys.
She's really unsure what's going on here.
So let's just go around the room and say your name and your puppy's name. And if I forget, please forgive me. It's a lot of names for me to remember. My daughter and I also woke up at 3:30 in the morning. And we had trouble going back to sleep. So it's one of those days. All right, so then actually we'll do really quick. One thing that you're struggling with, puppy biting or jumping, not like a long scenario because we want to make sure we have time to train. So like 1 sentence or 1 word on that. Okay? So we'll start over here.
Oh, hi, I'm Nikki. This is Ruby.
And Ruby. Okay.
Puppy biting, I'd say.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our cute
I'm
little
Shannon,
bulldog
this is
girl.
Chubb, and he doesn't really do a lot of puppy biting. He has another dog, but maybe jumping.
Jumping. Okay. Okay.
We have Kenneth the corgi. Super excited.
Okay. You're in the right place.
Little Miss Raya. She's hiding on her mama's
From the
shoulder.
movie? That's awesome. That's one of Iris's favorite movies. This is my daughter Iris, by the way. She's going to be helping today.
And maybe biting.
Biting too? Okay. Great.
I'm Allie, and this is Nash, and I'm saying the puppy nickname.
Okay.
It seems
Got
like
it,
puppy
got it.
nickname is a big thing for everybody, so we'll get some tips here in a bit.
Probably maybe more that house training.
House training. Okay, so go
Flora
on,
needs
go
the
on
house
my
training
Facebook
part.
page. I just did a live today on house training.
Oh, okay.
So today we're covering jumping and nipping. Okay? All right, so the first thing that we're going to work on is just getting our dogs to sit. Okay? Because that'll help get them to learn how to settle down a little bit. Right? What's your dog's name again?
Ruby.
Ruby. Okay. So notice how I move my hand up and back. Irish, do you want to demonstrate that? Remember how to do the upside down L? You go up and back.
Up and back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like that.
Yep. Here, I'll do it with you. So you go up and back, and then you're gonna wait, and then you give the treat and you sit. Okay?
I'll take that treat.
How many of your puppies know how to sit on command? Raise your hand.
Not Mars, no.
Okay, so some of them. That's great. So anytime your puppy doesn't sit, then you can do that movement. Okay, because anytime we're training something new, there's multiple ways to do it, but one way is by using a lure. Okay, so that's what I did with Ruby, is I put that treat there, so it's like, so what would that be, like candy or chocolate for you? Right? And then they want to follow it around, give me that chocolate, give me that chocolate. So your dog is going to follow that treat around like a magnet, as long as it's something that your puppy wants. Okay? If they don't want it, they're not going to follow it. So you need to make sure your treat is motivating. All right? So we're going to practice that. But before we do, who knows about clicker training? Raise your hand.
Clicker?
Okay, so one of you, Iris does. What do you know about clicker training?
I forget.
You forget. That's what happens when you get up at 3:30 in the morning. So do we click?
3:36 in the morning.
3:36. Do we click for good behavior or not good behavior?
Good.
Good behavior. So anything that the dog is doing that you like, you can click, and then you have 2 to 3 seconds to get the food reward out. So let's say your treat pouch isn't on you, but let's say your clicker is, and I would recommend that you would carry your clicker around with you a lot if you're willing to use it. Okay, some of you guys really might not want to do clicker training, and that's okay. You can still train your dog without doing it. But the secret is you can mark a behavior and then go get the food. So it serves as a time gap between the behavior and the treat. So if we're clicking or training sit, when would we click?
When they sit.
Yes, good job. Exactly, exactly. So with Flora here, I'd move my hand up and back, and then there she sat, and then I would click during that sit. Okay? So that's what I want you guys to practice right now, is getting a treat in your hand, moving it towards your dog's muzzle, making an upside down L, and then clicking when they sit. Okay?
We didn't bring that clicker. We left it.
So I gave everybody a clicker, so if you didn't get one, then I need to give you. Oh, Iris, can you go give them a clicker here, please? So you all get a free clicker today. Did you get 2?
I think so.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
I didn't realize you got her. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, Joanna was super awesome, and she brought some bags and some clickers. They have a cute little logo on them right here. It says four-legged scholar. I think you can see it. That way we can work on this kind of training.
Nice job, Flora.
Oh, that's a very good question. Sharon, thanks, Sharon Johnson. So, exercise for puppies, it's going to depend on the age as well as breed. Certain breeds we want to do certain exercises for. There are some we want to help build up muscles in the back legs. Also keeping in mind exercise is important, but also appropriate body condition as they're growing. So this is a great question to have with your veterinarian when you go in for your vaccine appointments as they're growing. So you can address, do we think we're getting a little too chunky? What exercises can we do? Are there different areas that maybe we don't have as much muscle mass as we want, and we want to build that? Actually, on our AuroraVet.com website, if you go under dog services and osteoarthritis, we have a video of some exercises you can do, the sit to stand, as well as the slope walking. So those are different ways for us to target different muscle groups for these guys.
Put the treat up by his
I hope that was helpful.
There's your click. Good. Yep. So it's helpful to know about the lure because when he's distracted, he's probably not going to sit with just the lure.
Yeah.
So then if you know how to do the lure, then you're going to feel a little bit more empowered. Okay, that was kind of, what was your dog's name again?
Ooh, look.
Rhea, that's right. Okay, so then you're going to do up and back, just like that. So you
You're
guys
welcome,
can
Sharon.
avoid saying sit, sit, sit. You're working on the lure, okay?
We
All
have
right,
some
so I
good
just
sitters
have
out there.
Rhea, and then what was your dog's name? Nash.
Like she said, the nice thing about the clicker is it's very easy to quickly reward them for that good behavior instead of having to fuddle with the treat to begin with. You can have that clicker. Some people, even on walks, they'll have that around their wrist with a little lanyard so they can reward that behavior almost immediately when they're out and about.
And then there would be your click. Nice job on the lure. Okay, guys, so anytime your dog is not sitting for you, repeating the command is going to do nothing. Okay? They're just going to hear gobbledygook over and over again and go, I'm just going to go over here and sip the other dog, or I'm going to go over and do that. You want to go back to the lure, okay? If they're not following the treat, what does that mean?
Of course, Lynn Richner, you're so good. Yes, we do want to make sure to use that word after saying good sit to reinforce what they did correctly. So thank you.
Okay? All right. So,
Short, concise commands will get us the most
Alright, so getting our
impact
dogs
for
to
these
hold
guys. So they'll be able to understand it
Alright?
better.
So I'm gonna use Nash, okay?
Oh, Nash is going to be showcased,
I
guys.
love that. So any of you guys that struggle with holding the leash while you're training, those waist leash are really nice. They really work so good. It can free up your hands. Oh, you're a little shy. Okay. All right. So you're going to be an easy demonstration then, Nash.
Sharon, you are good with these questions. So we love to have puppies come, especially when they're hungry, with some treats or toys, so that we can teach things like even getting them acclimated to getting onto the scale. For some puppies, it's scary to go through a doorway, so just getting used to coming into the clinic. This ride is great. I go in there, and these people give me treats and rewards, and we can play with my toys. It's super helpful when you come in to let us know what specific words you're using to train your pet, so we can tailor it to your pet. We sometimes call those happy visits, where we're coming in between, especially when these guys are younger. They have a lot of vaccines that they get, vaccine appointments, so they keep coming in and seeing me, and I become the poking lady, and I don't want to be that. I want to be the treat lady. So
All right, let's do.
that's a few ways to work on that and make it less stressful, make it more common for them, and us being able to use their commands makes it familiar for them as well too. So that's
You're gonna
great.
get your dog into the sit. Good. You're trying so hard, Iris. That's okay. I'll do it in a minute. Okay. So you're gonna start with making it really brief. Okay. Take a step back, quick, walk in, and then say all done.
Okay.
Okay. So you're literally having them say, "Good job," for
Kenneth the
1 to
corgi,
2
we love
seconds,
him.
maybe 3. No, honey. I'll do it in a minute. Okay? Can you help her find the article, please? For country courtesy.
Stay cute. You say, did you say stay?
Not yet. Sit. Good job. So it's a little hard here because we have a lot of distractions, right? We have a full class, so it does make it harder for the dog to be able to. She's not. She needs to go. We need to have a bigger space for her to be able to do it that long. Okay, let's let it go because at this point it's starting to get distracting from the class. Okay. So you're taking a quick step back, and then as the dog holds it, then you're giving that treat. Sit. There you go.
He's like, what time? I hear it.
Good. All done. Now, if your dog won't stay when you're taking a step back, then you'll just do sit, sit, all done. So your job is to release the dog before they break the stay, okay? If your dog is too distracted here to do it, there's nothing wrong with your dog, okay? So Kenneth did just fine, but Kenneth was saying, I have dogs in all different directions that are just a few feet away from me, and it's really hard for me to focus. So instead of me trying to force him and then comply, I'm going to say, this is too hard for you right now. That's okay. So that's what a good dog trainer does, is you don't get controlling, you listen, and if they're not ready to do it then you do it in an easier spot, okay? So you're going to do a lot better with this if you're standing up, and I would recommend that you pick a spot as farther away from each other as best that you can. Okay, so try to not take a step closer to your neighbor. So like for you, you could go back there.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then you guys, you could even move over here.
Let's move that chair for a second.
Right?
Our pups need a little extra room. They're getting all excited seeing each other.
Yeah, and now Kenneth has a little bit more space. So, it's going to be easier. Yeah, you want to sit.
Give me just a second, Sharon. I need to look at that a little bit further. So just a moment to open up that question.
All done.
Good boy.
Okay, so unless your dog knows the meaning of stay, you're not saying stay. Okay, because it's not going to do anything. It's not going to mean anything to them, and you have to get the behavior down before you can add a command to create that meaning. Does that confuse anyone, or does that make sense? Because I saw a lot of nods. Okay, great. So this makes immediate sense. Wow. Okay. Cool. You guys are not new. Okay. Very nice. Good. So then you just want to maybe have, guys, if your puppy's popping up really easily, have a handful of treats already in your hand. All done. And then that way you can reward that.
Right.
Right? Because they don't know what we want them to do.
Okay, so the question was about what do we do if we're having issues with behavior and training and medications. So it's really important. We are lucky in our area to have lots of training. We really appreciate in-home training or classes when appropriate, but doing that with your pet. Certified pet dog trainers, positive reinforcement trainers are great. We don't want to scold dogs too much and maybe hide a normal behavior and discourage them from sharing their feelings with us. So there are medications that can be used when appropriate, but it is very important to do the training along with those medications. Otherwise, pets will overcome those medications. The behavior modification is super important.
And then you do all that.
Super good with the question, Sharon. Thanks again.
Up here, please. Eyes up here. Eyes up here. Okay. I want you guys to think of no pauses. So the tag is quick treating. Okay? So you want the treating to happen while your dog is sitting quickly. All right? So again, the tag is quick treating. Then you're going to release the dog before they break the sit. Okay? So let's go ahead and think of that. How can you be faster at the treats would be my question to you. It's going to be a different answer for everyone. For me, it's generally easier if I have the treats already in my hand. Okay? And if I am close to my dog. Okay? So let's see. I want you to all practice quick treating for the stay. Okay? Ready, set, go.
So instant gratification for these guys is super important.
Now be released.
I think I keep saying super a lot, but it's an emphasis word. Sorry, guys.
Yep, and then eyes up here, guys. One more thing. Then you're going to do a release word. Okay, so after you do the quick treating, then you're going to do all done or free, whatever consistent word you want to use that says the dog can get up. Okay?
She said this is amazing information.
Very nice. There you go, Shannon. Yep, and then do all done.
All done.
Yep. Yep, that's it.
Thanks for joining us, Lindsay. Lindsay's visiting from out of state, watching us. I don't know if anybody else is from out of state watching. Let us know if you are. But I see a lot of clients popping up here and people in our communities that we serve. So thank you guys.
That was wonderful.
I see names from all the clinics: Aurora, Manaway, Streetsboro.
So you're going to be staying near him, Kenneth, just like this. Click, and then click again, click, and then all done.
Okay.
Okay?
All done, I forgot that part.
Yep, so you're, well, you want to stay near,
Yeah.
and then walk away when it's release time.
You are super good, Sharon.
All done.
Good job with Flora.
So-
Very nice. Good. Nash said
There are
this is
lots of
easy.
feelings on what should and shouldn't be used, and certainly this is a good conversation to have with your trainer
Okay, so we're not
and your vet as well. A stable leash that you can keep short, like she said, being able to be near your pet, to work with them, to treat them immediately, to keep their attention, especially as puppies, is very important. So that's where retractable leashes can cause us a little bit of trouble.
Okay. So very nice with Freya there.
Also something that fits very well in your hand so that they're not pulling and tugging and possibly making your hand hurt so that you jerk or correct when you shouldn't be correcting.
Put your hand for a minute so I can do a demonstration. Put your hand on your hip. There you go. Sit. Sit.
The clicker stick.
Got it. Yeah, I was just gonna say she looked like she got a little scared. Hey, Rhea.
Clicker.
And then you give her a treat. All done. So you're holding him up high. I'm exaggerating, but then she wants to jump up. We get it. So cool him down low. Sit. All done. Okay. Very nice. Come.
Okay, go.
They're too high. So your tag is hand by muzzle. Okay. Yeah, and she doesn't want to do it right now. So let her have a break. Okay, that's okay. She's allowed to be done. Okay.
You done?
All done. That's it. All done.
It looks like a lot of our puppies don't want to be all done once they do their sits. They're being very good.
Okay.
Sit and feed it. Feed twice, and then all done. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask everyone, can we have a little bit more quiet? Because I'm starting to feel like I'm gonna have to like yell sometimes to be heard. And my throat's a little sore. Okay, so what we wanna do then is start wondering about when we're adding the stay command, right? So again, we want to make sure that we have the stay first. So usually I say when the dog can stay for 30 seconds, that's when I would add sit stay. Okay? Then you just gradually work up the duration of time over a period of days, weeks, and months. All right, you have puppies, you're going to have short attention spans. Your training sessions are only going to last 2 to 5 minutes long. A whole hour training is a lot. Okay, and we are in a more distracting environment
Rhea
than
made
you
a
are
break
at
for
home.
it.
So you're going to have a more successful time with getting a longer duration, say, when there's less distractions around. All right. So why are we training stay? Well, if we're dealing with jumping and biting, teaching your dog to stay and control that impulse can help. Okay. What do you guys think the best thing to do is when your dog jumps on you? Ignore it. Good job. So a lot of times we hear people say, you know, like, knee the dog, right? Remember, anything that instills pain on your dog can cause aggression or fear problems. So if kneeing your dog is actually working to get them to not jump, that's because it felt uncomfortable for them. And anything that creates that uncomfortness is what we want to avoid doing. Okay, so turning the back and ignoring it. And then as soon as they sit, it's like Flora did, then you would click and treat. So you basically be a tree and you'd be really bored. And you're just like,
I'm bored.
exactly.
Yeah, like
Good job, Iris. Iris is really good at that. So you just
I'm
wait
bored. I'm so bored. I'm just gonna stand here.
and turn your back. And then click and treat the what? The good behavior, but what's the good behavior? The sitting, that's what I said, right? This is why I ask you guys questions and see how awake you are, because it's like, you know, it's in the evening after a long day, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's try that again. When the dog jumps, I do what?
Turn around and then ignore them.
Yeah, and then what do I click?
When they sit.
The sit, yes. If you can. If your dog isn't going to sit, you can click and treat a stand. But most puppies are used to getting rewarded for that sit, that if you turn and wait long enough, they're going to sit. So what happens when your mind is racing and you just feel like you can't be patient? What do you think you guys could do then? You could take a break, you could end the training session. You could also just start slowing down your breathing. So I don't know if any of you guys have done meditation. I do meditation very regularly. It really helps with dog training because it's a slow process. Just turn your back and just count your breath. Think about something else or go to the ocean. Take your mind somewhere else and then, oh gosh, my dog's sitting now. Click and treat. Great. Okay, because they're jumping for attention. That's the most reason. So if we ignore it, that's when we can curb that behavior. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and work on, very nice, Kenneth. You are holding the sit. Good job. We're going to start working on leave it. Okay, so that's going to help with the chewing and the biting. Okay, we're going to start with just having a treat in our hand and putting it in front of the dog. Okay? Okay, Iris, honey, you need to have the volume down. Okay, because we forgot to bring your headphones. I'm sorry about that. That was my mistake. Do you want to work at all? Be a little bit? Yes. So as soon as she looked away, that's when the marker happened. Now I used the word yes instead of the clicker because she's scared. Okay? You don't want the treat? You do. Yeah. So definitely if her appetite is safe, you know, where she doesn't want to eat as much, that can also be when she's feeling more scared.
Yeah.
Okay? So basically what we're doing is, what's she dog's name again? Ruby. Ruby. When your dog looks away from the hand, which could take a little while, so make sure you guys are watching this so you understand. Okay? It's going to take a while for some dogs. Okay? So that's why we're doing more than one demonstration. So see, Ruby's going to paw it, bite it. A lot of your dogs are going to do this. Okay? And then as soon as the dog looks away from the hand, that's when you're going to click. Okay? Or use the yes marker. If your dog is scared of the clicker, then you can use a yes marker. Okay?
How long does that take for it to go away?
How long could it take? What do you think? It could take 5 minutes. You know, it depends on the dog and how excited they are, right? How long does it take for you guys to calm down when you're stressed out? Sometimes it takes me a few hours, depending on how stressed I am. Weeks? Sure. It can. That's real. Because when your cortisol level goes up in your body, it can take multiple days for it to go down low. So try to have compassion. I use human examples for a reason. Try to have compassion for your dogs. These are puppies, they're toddlers. They're not going to turn their head right away. Okay, so you want to think of how long it's going to take. If you think that a whole bunch, it's just going to stress yourself out. There's nothing wrong with having that thought. Don't hold on to it. Just be like, can I be patient and wait? And how good can I be at patient and waiting? Okay? So like with Ruby, it's going to take a little while. It doesn't matter why they turn their head away. Okay? they're turning their head
Don't
away.
we
if
get
you
a
would like.
treat then once they turn away? To give them a reward?
Yes. Yep. So that's what I did. I clicked when we clicked, then we follow it with the food. Right? So I clicked and then gave it a treat. Okay? So you guys can say leave it, so I'll do another time because I have to say to leave it on the other two.
So like she said, it's very important for owners to be in the right frame of mind, not just the puppy for training. So if today was a super stressful day, somebody pulled out in front of you on the way home, you were arguing with somebody about trying to get their homework done, because that never happens, right?
Those of you who didn't
Those
watch
might
us,
not
just
be
watch when I
the
say
times
leave it, so you can learn
to
this, okay?
be working on training. So take some time, settle down,
So when did I say leave it?
and then come back and train when you're in the right frame of mind as well, not just the pup, because they can definitely feed off of
You
us.
need to say it when they're doing the behavior. That's why we can say it right away with stick, because they're not going to say it right away. Leave it, they will. You just have to wait a little while. Okay? So you guys can practice it. Okay, and I'm going to go around the room and watch you.
Well, turn around, buddy.
Yep, so there's your leave it, quick and treat with Freya. So you would give the treat, yes?
A little bit more in there.
So you want to,
Ray is giving us a good example, and this is why it's important to pay attention to what your dog responds to. Rhea seems to be concerned by the click sound, so they're adjusting and working more with treats and not pushing the clicker. This would be something where maybe going home and associating the clicker with treats all the time versus making her work to get the click as a reward. We have to teach her that that click is a reward. Yeah, that makes me feel better. I'm like, I don't see it in there.
oh. I must have not. No, it's because it's up here. Here's the article on social media. Okay.
Sorry.
Can you release
I
that?
need over. Puppy toy.
Did it startle the dog?
Startled me.
Kenneth looked over, he was like, what?
Good puppy.
Good job. Nice job with Flora. So now you want to make sure you're giving the treat with the opposite hand. Okay? Leave it, yes,
You do that. You can
and then treat there. So that she doesn't learn that she's going to get it from the source. Did you find it?
No, I'm looking.
What did you do with it?
So how do you,
not the
like,
one
how are
that
you
she's
doing that?
saying.
Are you clicking
So like if it was in like if it was medicine or
So
something,
I have the click in this hand.
like as soon as you
Thank you.
Well, it's in your pocket.
she
Thank
doesn't
you.
get her medicine. She's getting
Oh, got it. Okay. And then I'm treating.
Yep, we were doing that with the same hand.
Yeah, that's okay.
I know. We were doing the same hand.
That's why we practice,
Yeah.
right? Rhea's excited. That's normal. Okay, keep practicing, guys, so I'm gonna watch it and help you out, okay? Jump, jump. No. Good job with Ruby. Yes, perfect timing with Ruby there. Yep. And then I don't know if you said leave it.
I didn't say quick.
Okay, so then you said it yes, that she wasn't there, correct?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Guess
That's how you
what?
say it.
Marlene says hello. This is Rhea, guys. She's saying hi back. Hello, everybody. Oh, she's being a good girl. She says, I just don't like the clicker. It was scary sounds. Huh? Good girl.
So you're just gonna wait, you just kind of.
That's coming over there.
And you could also just leave it or take his nose So right now he's not into your hand.
Leave it if I put it on the
So
ground.
I could just wait and just say, oh, when is he not going to be sniffing something? Leave it and click that.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Because he's just into everything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you were at home, you could then put a more desirable food object in your hand to then work on it. But here we only have so many options. Okay? Alright, I want to watch Chubbs do it because I haven't seen you. And you understand how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, keep practicing, guys, because here's the thing. If you just practice it for a few seconds, your dog isn't going to learn. Right? You need to practice a lot of times for your dog to get it, okay? Good job. Perfect. So the only thing different I would do, say leave it when he looks away, and then treat in the opposite hand. Yep. So then you want to think
I'm
tag
forgetting to treat me.
in opposite hand. Opposite hand. The tag is.
Because I don't have it in my opposite hand, I have it in the clicker.
So then after you click, then you want to think, now I get to treat out.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So, and if you don't do it perfectly,
She is a cute little baby. Auntie Marlene is picking on the princess today.
When we give it with the opposite hand.
Aunt Marlene said she should toughen up, Mom.
Attention is going to the other hand because she knows the treat's coming from
that's
there.
what you want.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So guys, this is a really good question. Listen up. Okay, repeat it again.
I said I have it in his hand,
Mhm.
and she's like, even just now, she's like already got that it's gonna come from here. So
Mhm.
she moves her attention away, but
To that hand.
to this hand. But
So what does that mean, guys?
That's smart.
She's got a smart dog. Why are you saying that? Is the dog understanding what we want him to do?
Yes.
Exactly. So then you're rewarding the right thing and she's getting it.
Okay.
If I have the trash can out and my dog looks away from the trash can, isn't that what I want them to do?
Okay.
Yes. So when they look away from what you want them to look away from, that's good and that's what you want to reward. That's a good thing.
Boy.
Okay? All right. So this is a really important one to work on a lot because obviously your dogs are chewing on things, right? That's what puppies do. So you want to work with other things besides treats. Okay, you can work with toys. You can work with your cell phone, toilet paper, Kleenex. Anything that you can fit, well, you might not want to start with your phone. You generally want to start with things that you can fit in your closed hand, because I can't really fit that in my closed hand that well. Okay? So things that you can fit in your closed hand is where you would want to start with. Okay? And it's a whole stepping process, so you can't train leave it in one session and have a perfect, leave it command. That's what you guys are going to do is do the very basics on that. Okay? And then once your dog is starting to get it, then you can, start trying it in real life situations. Okay? And if they don't get it, then we need to teach those intermediate steps. And if you go on my YouTube channel, there's a whole bunch of videos on there, including how to train leave it. Of course, you can work with me as well, but there's a whole library on there on YouTube too. Okay? Great. So, when we have puppies that chew on stuff, we want to also do management. That means bringing the objects off the floor.
What if the object is the carpet?
We want to think about one thing at a time. Okay? Okay? Please take that to heart. Because when you have a puppy, your brain is going to have 1,000 things you want to fix, and then you're going to get overwhelmed. All right? So the first thing that I notice a lot of people do is I'll say something and then they think about why they can't do it, right? So you want to think about how you can do it and then go to the next level from there. So the first thing we want to think about is how we can bring up movable objects off the floor. Shoes, books, things like that, helping, your kids shut their playroom door if there's stuff around, things like that. Now, things that you cannot move, and you want to train, leave it. Okay? You've got to train it every day, or as close to every day as you can, for a few minutes so that they start learning it. You can also try bitter apple and bitter orange to spray on things, but there's plenty of puppies who like the taste of it. You've got to remember remember, you have a puppy, they're going to explore. It's not going to be a perfect process. Things may get destroyed, but if you keep doing the training, then less and less things are going to get destroyed. So if Flora, for instance, was over there chewing on that bench right now, okay, I could go, and then as soon as she looked away, I could click and give her a treat. Or I could also redirect her to something that she could chew on. Did you bring any toys?
Yeah, there's no point.
That's great. So then I could redirect her away. She's still chewing on the treat. Puppies take like forever to chew on treats.
Look at your little
They do, they're always, they just got such little mouths.
Your little tail's hitting me, bud.
You don't want this toy. So you would make a
Oh, that one
noise,
she likes.
okay? She just wants to hang out there right now. That's okay. And then either click and treat when they redirect off, or click and give them a toy. Okay? Now, if you give them a treat, you probably still want to give them a toy, because if they're chewing on something, they're clearly communicated, I need to chew. So if you're just like, stop doing that, stop doing that, stop doing that. But Mom, I want to do that. I need to get it out of my system, right? But don't do that. But I have the desire to do it, right? It's counterproductive. So just like with Rhea there wanting to chew on the toy, right? She's a puppy. She's going to work. She's going to have that energy, right? So then you want to then be like, okay, here's the toy. Play with this instead of chewing on my sofa. Redirect it to that. And then when do you think you would praise them? When they're doing what?
Chewing on the toy?
Yes. You know what the number one thing I see people make the mistake of? Is their puppies are being so good and doing nothing. And then they go over there and they start chewing on the coffee table. And then all of a sudden they get all the attention. No, don't do that. Right? So then what do you think you're going to get more of?
Mother getting attention.
Exactly.
Super
So
big
takes
point, guys. So
self-awareness
always,
to do this,
always
guys. You're not gonna do it
reward the
perfectly,
good.
But you do want to start asking
If the
yourself,
only time you're
if my
interacting
dog
with them is when they're
sitting
doing naughty
quietly for
things,
5
they're
minutes,
always
an
going to do
hour,
naughty
a
things to
half
get your
hour,
attention.
whatever, did I actually give them any praise? Did they get any attention for that? Did they get any attention for chewing on the things they were supposed to do? They were supposed to chew on. Or did I constantly say, no, 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 no? Your puppy wants attention from you. They're social creatures. So you want to think, okay, good job. So when I would be working on my desk and I had my dog Seiki, he wanted to chew on everything. So I'd be working on my desk, and there is, click treat. Good job, you're lying down. Oh, he's chewing on your bone. I just take a second and say, good job, Seiki. Right? It doesn't take that long to do it. It just takes awareness to do it. So the more attention you get to the behavior that you desire, the more that behavior is going to happen. So if you're ever noticing that the chewing is happening a lot more for some reason, you might want to ask yourself, am I giving attention to that behavior? You might be. There could be other reasons that it's happening. But if the answer is yes, then you want to change that. So the answer to your question has a lot of answers to it, right? So hopefully that gives you some foundation. Right now, while I'm talking for a little bit, let's practice giving our dogs attention for good behavior. Okay? So if they're pulling on the leash, generally that's not something we choose to, that we want to choose to reward. Unless it doesn't bother you. If it doesn't bother you, that's fine. You don't have to train your dog to be perfect on the leash. You get to make the rules. Okay? Now, generally what we're going to be rewarding is a sit, a down, or a loose leash. Okay? So you're literally going to be focused on me. I want your attention to be listening to me, but then rewarding your dog, just like here with Kenneth. Okay, you want the bigger one. When something good is happening. Okay, so here I am multitasking, and I'm giving my dog attention for the good behavior.
No, that's it.
So that's what we're going to do for a little bit. Okay? Because I'm going to start talking here about different reasons why our dogs chew. Okay? And while I'm doing that, we're going to see how many of you guys can reward your dog for doing something good. Okay?
Perfect.
So you rewarded
See how Flora over there sat and immediately Mom followed with a treat.
Okay?
And that's the important thing, is to treat immediately for the things you want her to do. If what you want is a nice dog who sits down when she wants your attention versus a lunatic jumping and scratching up your legs, then the minute she sits, go ahead and tell her, good girl, good sit, give her a treat, and reward that behavior, give her pets, give her love, so that next time she will do the same thing to get the love she wants.
Rhea. Okay. So Rhea is getting rewarded for being held. Okay. That's a reward, guys. And she is training her dog to settle in her arms. Okay. A lot of times we think of that as, oh, we're just holding our dog. Well, yeah, but you are actually rewarding your dog for being quiet and settled in your arms. And Rhea's getting plenty of attention for that because she's got tactile contact from just sitting in her owner's arms. Okay? So it doesn't always have to be an active reward.
That's a good boy.
Eye contact can be a reward too. Okay? In a setting like this that's more distracting, usually it's treats. I know, you're all over the place. I get it, dude. You want to play and run. I would too if I were boy.
Kenneth says, I'm done with this sitting still and training thing. I want to play.
Everywhere too, I get sitting.
He went over to look at Nash, and then he went to Chubbs. He's trying to find himself a friend.
Okay.
And then just say, whatever you're going to do, I don't care. But when you sit, I'm going to give a treat.
We have been like rewarding.
You have been. You've been doing it a lot. So
He's like so full right now.
yeah, and it's a lot of like an hour of training, guys, is a lot.
Laura said, I'll just take that treat you dropped on the floor there, buddy. Thanks a lot.
All right, so everyone look up here. What are some different reasons why dogs chew? So you have this. I'm just going to go over it. I should probably look at the time too. Okay, we got about 10 more minutes. Okay, so you have this handout here. Okay, I want you to look at this on a daily basis because this isn't stuff that you typically think of. A lot of times we say, this is happening, I want it to stop, right? The nipping's happening, I want it to stop. Okay, well that's okay to have that as a goal, but you can't just expect it to be that simple, right? So like, for example, if your child is yelling, you can't just say, I want to stop the yelling. That doesn't make sense, right? You want to figure out, well, why are they yelling? What is the underlying need? Like, what are they communicating? Like, are they hungry? Did they have a bad day at school? Can they not find their toy, right? So, this is a list of kind of getting to that underlying need. Okay, so one of the reasons, obviously, that I think probably a lot of you already know about is teething, right? So cold things for them to chew on. They could be hungry. Tired is one that a lot of people don't think about. Okay, your puppies need a nap in the late morning to early afternoon and an early bedtime. Now, if you're not doing those things and your puppy is not getting the zoomies or extra nippy or extra jumpy and it's working for you, then let it go. Not a big deal. But let's say if you're noticing every morning, later on in the morning, this excruciatingly amount of nipping and crazy energy goes on, that's your puppy telling you they're overly tired. How many of you guys have heard kids who have a meltdown when they get overly tired because their cortisol spikes? Yeah? Yeah? My child did that. She had to have a really early bedtime when she was younger. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with your dog or your kid. It's learning how to work with them. So, you want to think if that's happening, well, if you try to put them down at that point, they're probably not going to go down that easily because their cortisol's already up. So you want to have that awareness in the future. So say, well, next time, if it's happening close to 11 o'clock, then I'm going to put you down at 10:45 or 10:30. I'm going to put you in a crate or on your bed with something that you want and let you have your quiet time. Okay? Same thing at nighttime. I see people all the time that say they're trying to watch TV and they're getting the... So this is one of the reasons too, that I also brought. so you
Again, we
guys
were
can
joined
bring
today
toys.
by Johanna
So
from
while you're
Four Legged
talking
Scholar.
to,
She's a certified
you
pet
can
dog
just
trainer.
give your dog something to do.
And she does work in our area,
Okay. And
meets
anytime
individually
you're
as
busy
well,
at home,
but has a great website with lots of
you
information
can always,
for you guys to
give
reference
your dog
too.
something to do, okay? Because they need that enrichment. So another one here is mental stimulation, right? That's one reason why they're going to get nippy. So giving them something to chew on, giving them a Buster Cube, a Kong Wobbler, or something for them to do. So all of you guys brought toys, which is great. So you can bring them out if you start getting frustrated with just rewarding the good behavior. Or you can leave them up and just keep rewarding the good behavior if that's working. Why are your puppies everywhere? Then they might be saying, give me something to do, please. I'm just bored. I'm not trying to be bad. I just need something to do. Okay? So then obviously physical exercise is another one. So this is a really good thing to kind of look at to kind of target. Okay? You want to look at my notes and make sure. Okay. So then the other thing that we're going to talk about is appropriate play. All right. Do you want to play right now? You might. So what do I have in my hand, guys? What happens if I'm waving my toy around, or sorry, my hand around shelf space, and it's okay, it happens. And I don't have the toy in my hand, and the dog wants to play. What are they gonna bite?
Your hand.
Yes. Yep. They're gonna bite your hand. Yep. Let's hold the lead a little bit shorter. And you don't want to play right now. This is so distracting. Okay, so with Rhea, as soon as she's quiet, good job. Okay, I want you to go ahead and give her a tap for that. Okay? So that can be praise, petting, holding her, or talking to her. Okay? Good job. So just like I did there, okay? Because that's going to encourage her to then learn how to be more quiet. Does that make sense? Yeah, because that's pretty normal. This was like one of the quietest puppy classes I've ever seen in my life. But your job is to redirect that rather than just letting it go. Okay? So you want to think of, okay, I'm either going to redirect the barking or I'm going to reward her when she's quiet. Okay? And when you get sick of doing that, then just put her back in your arms. Okay? Alright, so
Because let's be honest, that's what
if
Rhea
you
wants.
do
She
not
just wants her
have a
mama to
toy in
hold
your
her
hand, your
all
puppy
the
wants
time.
to play and I'm waving
She's
my
kinda like
hands
a
around
hand
their
bag.
face, what are
Carry
they
me
gonna
around,
do?
Mom.
Exactly. So what do you think is a good idea to have in your hand when you're playing with your puppy? A toy, yeah. How many of you have kids? How many of you guys have kids that wave their hands in front of your puppy's face?
Not my kids.
Good. That's great. I'm glad to know they don't do that. So that's one thing that you want to keep in mind. If they bite you when you have the toy in your hand, what do you think would be a good idea to do? What did we talk about with the jumping earlier?
Ignore them.
Ignore them? Yep, so then what would you do with playing? Would you continually play or stop playing? Stop playing.
And ignore them.
Yep, so you stop, turn your back, drop the toy, if it's in your hand, or take the toy. Now, if the dog has it in their mouth and you're not getting yank it away from them, then you just drop the toy. If they don't have it, then you can take the toy and, so I could take the toy and turn my back, and they might keep jumping up and biting me, and then I turn my back again, and they jump up and bite, and I turn my back again. Oh wow, they're sitting right now. I bring out the toy and resume the play. Okay, so that's an example of biting for over arousal level. Okay, but you do also want to ask yourself, was it teething, or was it mental stimulation, or was it overly tired, right? But for over arousal, that's a simple thing to do. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
No. Lick, bite.
Same thing.
Same thing.
You want to look at that list
Okay.
and ask yourself, what is the underlying need going on? right? And then that would be your solution, right?
Usually like she's really happy. Oh,
Okay, so look at your list. Yeah. So right here, right? Overly happy with Heidi, overly aroused. So what did we say to do for that? Turn your back,
Oh.
ignore the behavior, right? And reward them when they're, yeah. Now, redirecting them to toy is great. If you're petting them and they want to bite, then have a toy in your hand while you're petting them. Redirect them, they bite you, stop petting them, turn your back, resume petting once they're calm. So you're basically doing, you are doing behavior consequence, so you do look at the behavior, but you also want to look at the underlying need too. You can't just always say, when my kid is yelling, I'm just going to ignore them. And I'm only going to give them attention when they're quiet. Because you're not teaching them self-control then, right? Who doesn't get mad as an adult? We all do. So you have to teach them how to deal with the emotions. You can't just sit there and ignore your kid every time they're upset and only give them attention when they're quiet, right? So you want to make sure you're also listening to what your puppy is communicating to. Does that make sense? Okay. Great. So we're going to train one more thing today, okay? And let's see, Rita, do you want to do it? I'm going to see if you want to do it. We haven't really.
Okay, Auntie, if you're watching, here we go.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to put a treat. We're going to train target. Target. Good job. Oh, wow. That was so easy for you. So you put a treat in your hand.
That's because Rhea has learned touch very quickly at the vet clinic.
And then click when they
She will
touch
do
your hand.
anything for
so
lean
you can
treats.
move your dog around, okay? Target. Good job. Very nice. Thank you for great.
What do you use that for?
Wonderful.
So you can train like a bunch of other things.
So you can move your dog. So if they are jumping on somebody, okay, you have someone over, right? They can turn their back. That's great.
Honestly,
Well, what if
that
it's a
target or
kid?
touch comment
And they're getting frustrated.
training is something
And
you
your
can do with
puppy
them
is
when they
biting and
first
pulling
come
on them
home.
and they're trying to
My puppy's
ignore
at
it.
6 weeks. They
And
came
it's
home
so
and they were
happening.
doing touch the
Well,
very
you
first
can
day.
use target
You can use
and
that
redirect
touch or
your dog
target
off of
command
them
to then
onto you.
teach many
Okay?
other
'Cause it's
things.
teaching the dog to touch
Puppies
their
are
muzzle
very
to your
nosy
hand.
and they're
So you
willing
can
to
move the
touch
dog
your
around.
hand.
You could also use
So it
to
happens
replace
quite
a lead
naturally.
If they're chewing on the coffee leg or whatever, the coffee table leg. I would do target to redirect them off of that.
Opportunist.
Yeah, I did. I did.
And again, that's
So
another
we're gonna practice
thing to share with us.
training this,
If
and
we
I
weren't the
want
ones
you
that
to
taught
think, again,
that,
you're using
share
it
with us
eventually
different
to move
tricks,
your dog
different
around. Right now,
comments
it's
that
new.
you give
Your
to them,
hand's
or
only gonna get
different
muzzle height and only
key
gonna be,
words
like,
that get certain behaviors.
foot away
That way we become familiar
or
to them
less.
and they're
And
willing
what
to
I
pay
did is
attention
I
to
had
us. It's a
the
way for
treat
them
in
to
between
realize that we know the
my
rules
thumb and
too.
my pointer.
I'll have some families make a list and put that on the refrigerator
He says, I
because
want
dogs
something
will
better.
very quickly learn who knows the rules and who
Here you
doesn't.
go. Yep. Very good.
Many of you have heard me tell
You won't need any more treats.
That's okay.
pet owners that if you
Yeah, I
don't train
mean,
your
he's a
pet,
small
they will
dog,
train
he's
you.
gonna get-
Yeah, you're not responding.
Yeah, so you can just observe it and then practice it
Yeah,
at
it's
another
good to
time.
know how to do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good job. Okay, guys, so those of you that do not have full dogs, go ahead and practice target right now, okay? I'm gonna watch you do it. Target.
Nash says, I need a potty break.
And you have a flat hand. This is gonna be your hand signal target. Okay? Yeah. So it looks different than doing the lead. Okay? Good girl. Jump. Okay. Jump.
Target.
Target.
Very much this one.
Target.
Oh, boy.
Nice job. So there you're a little bit farther away, and she did it.
And thanks, we have Sam and Chris answering some
What you did,
questions to your
you
guys'
did
posts.
Like a kissing noise.
So thanks for joining us today, and thanks to Chris and Sam
That's
for
great.
being in the background for all this too.
Standing there going target, 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 and the dog doesn't do it, right? So you do some form of prompting just like you did. You're not not an amateur trainer. That's a pro level.
Yeah.
Because we'll teach you how to
dog.
Yeah, good job. Great. Good job. Try again. Very nice with chubs. Very good.
I like that.
So this time, have your hand a little bit closer to the muzzle when you do it, okay?
Dog is that. That's a
Yep.
dachshund.
So about half that distance.
Oh, okay.
Good, you did it.
Yeah, and like put the two together.
I know.
When people go, she don't have her
spaniel.
Hey.
So again, sorry, get closer. Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of distractions, so you want to think close in. Okay?
Oh, boy.
Did you want to practice with Freya?
We actually just did, and we do it at home all the time.
Oh, good! That's great!
So we,
That's
and
wonderful.
probably Ruby Sue knows as well, so most of the pups that come into Streetsboro, the first thing we do is teach them, we use touch. And so they very quickly, and that way they know we're in charge, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, we know rules too, pay attention to us.
That's
She comes right
So-
to it, even in the
And that's a great thing when you guys come into the clinic, even, we were talking on the online, you know, bringing them in just for happy visits to come in and get used to coming into the clinic. I know she was like, I don't know if I want to go through the door when she came in today. But having them come in, same things, bring their treats, bring their toys, tell us what their commands are, so we can do a little bit of that with them. And we're not the, oh man, every time I go there every 3 to 4 weeks, they poke me with needles, I don't like this place. We become the, oh, I come here and I play, or I get my treats. The best things happen when I go to the vet clinic, not just the poking things happen. So.
Exactly. That's awesome. I love that. So take that to heart, guys, because that helps with your dog liking the clinic. So communicate with them. Let them know like what commands they know. Bring in treats that you know that your dog already likes. I mean, I know they have treats, but if your dog doesn't like the treats that they have, bring your own treats and let them know what treats your dog does like, so that you can make that positive experience.
And not just the everyday treats, like she said for this evening, those high value, I will do anything for that treat, is what you should bring to the vet visits.
Yes, absolutely. So does anybody have any questions about jumping or nipping or mouthing? Great. Okay. Your foot's asleep? That's not a question. That's a statement.
Yeah. So any last minute questions you want me to share with Johanna now that she's closing down her
Any
part
more information?
and her information? Like I said, Four-Legged Scholar is the name that she has for her business, Johanna. She is a certified pet dog trainer in our
The
area
teething one?
and does great
If
positive
you
reinforcement
go on the back
training.
of here, there's
Oh, awesome, Morgan. I'm glad you guys pulled out the clicker. Good job, Miracle.
How to train a lot of different commands. Okay, so you can look at that. Now, if any of you guys want to do more training, I am actually doing an online puppy Zoom group course. So you're in your home, you have your camera there, and your puppy is way less distracted than they will be that they were here. Okay? Now, I think it's great to do in person, etc. There are benefits to that. Plenty of benefits. Tons and tons. There's plenty of benefits that happen online that can't happen in person. And one of them is you don't have to leave your house. You're there, you just put up the camera, and you don't have that distraction. So you can, those distractions, so we can get your, that learning to happen really easily for both you guys. So that's a 6-week program that I'm doing on this. Every single week we're going over a different topic. It's the first time I'm doing it, and probably the only time that I will offer it at this price. It's $100 for an entire 6-week course. Super good deal. If you want to do only certain topics, then it's $25 per class. So you could also just pick which ones you want to do. So if you
So
guys
Joanna's
want to
just
sign
talking
up
about
for
an
that or
online
have
Zoom
any
course that she's
questions
offering.
about it,
You saw a lot of the
you can
puppies
see
here
me
today
at the
were very
end of
distracted
class
about what
today.
was going on
We
and
can
seeing the
collect
other
your
dogs
payment
having a hard time
today to reserve your
concentrating.
spot.
So this is another
Feel
option
free
to do that from
There's
home
also a link on
in your own
here
environment,
as well.
with her kind of overseeing and helping guide you
then-
with some of that training at home.
That
Great way to
one is
have
online.
everybody
Yes, it's a group
involed at home.
Online puppy
Again,
Zoom
they're going to train the
course.
people that
So
aren't
you're at
trained,
home,
so make
you
sure
have your
that
camera
we
there,
have
we're
everyone going.
actively
Like I said,
training
Morgan,
your
great
puppy
job
together. I'm
having
gonna
Miracle
I'm gonna see
work
your
at
puppy.
home as well.
And we're gonna work together. So
You
yeah,
missed
that
the
is on my phone.
socialization.
What's that?
You missed the socialization part of it.
Yeah, you don't get the socialization part in this one, but you get the ability to, again, not have to leave, and again, the ability to have your puppy not be distracted. So we can cover a lot more material in a shorter time period. Yes. Yes. Now, honestly, socialization needs to happen. Okay, but that's your responsibility. Even if you do a group puppy class, all you're doing is socializing them with other dogs and a few people. You need to be close to 100 people to do adequate socialization. So don't rely on a group
What's
class for
a safe or
socialization.
good way to do that? Because we struggle with that.
So I have an article on that. You can just go ahead there and
Okay.
I'll give it to you at the end. And
The
then,
question was, what is
for
a good way
anyone
to
that
do
came
appropriate
today, you also
socialization?
get 50%
Joanna
off
had
in
brought
the
up
private
lots
session
of
with me if you wanted to.
socialization with different people, different locations,
Okay.
different
Thank you so much
hats,
for coming,
things like
and again,
beards,
if
long
you
hair,
wanna
short
sign
hair,
up for that group
because
course,
dogs really do
come
identify
and
those
see
things,
me
and if
so
it's
you can
not
get
something
all
that
of
they have seen before, it can become very concerning for some of our pups.
You're welcome. I know, they're so tired. So tired.
So, thank you guys for coming. I hope it was helpful, some good hints.
I'm late.
It's a way
And she's a great resource, all the online stuff, all the classes. So, thanks for coming, spending some time with us.
Thank you. Thank you. So this one has an article on socialization. Does anyone else want an article about puppy socialization?